My name is Catherine Wilson Murphy, and the name of the show is Catherine. I am the host. This show will feature personality interviews, current events, and special performances. We will be promoting unknown and little-known artists. Please stand by for a special event. My first special guest is Bernard Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, my husband of 4 years of marriage, Mr. Bernard Murphy. Come join me, honey. Well, first of all, Mr. Murphy, I'd like to thank you for participating in my show. Now, to our viewing audience, could you give a little bit of background of yourself?
I was born in March of 1948 to Mr. and Mrs. Ian Murphy. Josephine is my mother's name. Nancy is my father's name. I was raised for 6 years in Philadelphia.
Do you have any sisters or brothers?
Do you allow me to reach that point?
Yes, by all means, sir.
And then I moved into Buck County. I have one sister and two younger brothers. I happen to be the oldest one. And we have a rather close-knit family. And we are willing to do whatever it takes for each and every one of us in our own special way to achieve whatever goals we set out to accomplish.
Well, tell the viewing audience, how did you encounter your own home?
How did I encounter my own home?
Yes.
Well, I was just looking through the newspaper and I saw several homes that had piqued my interest to a point that I checked them out. This particular house, I saw it and I liked it and I said, God, this thing needs a lot of work. However, I said, well, the only way I can find out if I have any ability to do the type of work that it requires is to buy it. And from that point forward, I began to make whatever moves I needed to make in order to accomplish what I believed I could do.
So how many years did you live in your home?
From 1983 till 2008.
Are you retired? I mean, are you still working?
No, I'm not working. I am retired. And I'm loving every moment of it, except that I have a bit of a disaster, a catastrophe within the last 6 months or 7 months of my retirement.
Do you care to tell the viewing audience?
Yes, I'm here being interviewed. If you want me to tell it, I'll tell it.
By all means.
Well, in June of 2008, June 12th to be exact, about 10 o'clock at night, we were suddenly stricken with a conflagration in my home. It destroyed a portion of the second floor, and it destroyed a portion of the third floor. And the home itself was not destroyed, in my opinion, to a point where it needed to be demolished, but it was demolished about a month and a half thereafter. And naturally, we had to vacate the home before it even reached the point of being destroyed. And we wound up making several moves, and in those moves, it required that I had to spend a whole lot of unplanned for money as far as expenditures are concerned.
And what was your expenditures?
Excuse me. I had been living approximately 30 years in a home, and there was no need for me to worry about paying any kinds of bills other than utility bills. So I went from non-living, when it comes down to being living in a situation where I had basically no stress on me, to a point where I had all kinds of stress that I hadn't experienced in so long that it was like being reborn.
Was your marriage a stress factor?
No. I don't got no stress.
Well, all of your expenses
Mm.
that you was, dealing out, what were some of those expenses?
Well, where do you want me to start? I mean, well, I'll tell you that the expenses that I acquired was acquired because of the fact that I had the fire. Other than that, the expenses were fine. I was going along very well because I was interested in trying to help my wife become a well-known and successful attorney because she is multi-talented, and I was doing everything within my power to help her to achieve that particular end.
Oh, she's so lovely. Proceed, please.
All right, I'll proceed. So anyway, after we had moved the first time, we moved into a hotel and stayed there for several weeks. And that was an expenditure, of course, that I hadn't anticipated. And it also required that food that I normally would buy and have it stored in our freezer or what have you, I was buying food every day in order for us to survive.
So when you did have your home,
Yes.
did you have insurance on the home?
Nope. Didn't feel I needed it.
So that means that you was not in a dilemma because you wasn't spending your money out. You're in a dilemma now because you're just dishing money out now, which before you wasn't.
Correct.
So that's how you lost everything, because of no insurance.
Yes, that would be a part of it. The fact that I didn't have any insurance had an influence on the money that I was spending because of the fact that the lack of insurance meant that I would have been covered as far as being protected because of the fire. But because I didn't have that coverage, insurance coverage, no, I didn't have any protection. Therefore, any money that I was spending was just money that I was spending and there was no backup because I wasn't working.
And it was even more because supporting a wife with her career, that takes a lot of finances to do.
You're absolutely right.
And then now losing everything is just taking all of your money, exhausting all of your money.
You're absolutely right again.
So is there any help that you have gotten? Is there anyone helping you? Any political leader or?
Well, at this point, my wife and I recently went to a meeting that was held by State Representative Sherelle Park.
Was you told by a friend about this meeting or you heard it?
Well, we heard of the meeting through a friend, yes.
What a friend. Do you mind asking her name or his name?
Sure. Her name is Giselle Porter. Yeah.
Very valuable information that she
Yes,
did.
it was. Yes, it was.
Okay. Now, Parker, you said Parker, correct?
Yes.
Is she assisting you with accommodations of rebuilding our life back?
Well, she has given us more hope than we had the day of the meeting because it's been going on that long.
Well, how long did it take her to even just give you some kind of notion of hope?
That long.
How did she do that?
Listen to the story that my wife told her in brief, and it was enough to pique her interest to a point of wanting to go further.
So she had her workers really work with you and your wife? I mean, like that, I mean, you called, the next day you got moved, people want to move, people want to go, people to do things, people calling you, giving you positive responses.
Yes, you're absolutely.
Now, Mr. Murphy, was there any other community help that you and your wife received from the community? Any churches?
Yes, we did receive some help from one church, Zion Baptist Church at Broad and Venango Street in Philadelphia. And that was through one of our neighbors whom we met after the fire, Giselle quarterman again. And what they did was most appreciated, and really an unexpected thing. And all of that transpired because of Giselle.
And did they give you clothing, food?
Yes, a little bit of both. And we even received a little bit of cash.
Yes.
Which no one else had gone that far. Oh, excuse me, we did have some. We had
Mr. Sam Lackey.
Mr. Sam Lackey. We had Mr. Mel Peters' sister. We had
Her name?
Marie Ann
Bill.
Wilson.
Yes.
We also had some help from my wife's sister and brother, Carol and Joe
Batista.
Batista.
But most of all, we had help from God because we are, thank God that we're all still here.
Oh yeah, we can still live and breathe without any complications.
So in all due respect, what can you tell our viewers about what not and what to do when it comes down to home security?
You have to do everything that you are aware of doing when it comes to home security. And you also have to take the steps to check on your security to be certain that it is in place and doing an effective job for you, so that you are secure, your home is secure, and everyone who is in your home is secure as well.
So do you feel as though that there's any contacts that people can contact just in case if they are in this situation, that they can feel some kind of relief because they will be helped?
Yes, but they still must take that step. It's an obvious thing that you're not going to get any help if you just sit on your thumbs. But on the other hand, we did a lot of step taking and it didn't do us any good. And what happened with us, once we met Sherelle Parker through Giselle Quarterman, that is when things started happening.
So you suggest our viewers to get with the office of Sherelle people?
In this particular instance, yes, but it is basically a thing where if you live somewhere in Southwest Philly, she may be able to help you, at least introduce you to someone who can help you, but it may be in the jurisdiction of another representative.
And Zion Church?
Zion Church, you can go to Zion Church and probably get help.
And be a member?
Well, that's your choice, not mine.
Yes.
So yes, you could accept membership to that particular organization. Or maybe the wrong word, church, I'll say church. And to my way of thinking, it's not necessary for you to join a church if you need help. The church will give you help without membership as an incentive for them to help you.
But it is good to have a home church.
It is good to have a home church, although it's not necessary. I never have ever felt that it was necessary to become a member of a particular church or church organization. The idea is to attend that church or however many churches you feel that you must attend in order to satisfy your own Christian needs. So.
And become a member of one of them.
That's a matter of choice.
Well, of course, any way you want. But in all enlightening of it all, how is your mental state from this?
Well, my wife keeps saying I'm a little bit whacked out, so I have to take her word for it, because I still really don't feel it, but I do feel it to a point that I'm not the same person that I was. But I'm trying to recover from whatever I'm experiencing from the fire. And hopefully with some kind of help, if I can't do it alone, I will achieve that end.
I mean, depression. You lost everything. You worked all your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost everything in the wink of your eye.
But guess what? I'm sitting right here talking to you in this interview, and I'm happy to be alive.
Thank God.
Okay? So it's not as bad as it may seem.
So now, how do you feel about the uplifting of it all now? I have my own show called Catherine. You're my first interview. God is good. It's not a glorious feeling that we are just coming up and out.
Absolutely.
In the glory and the power of the Lord. Because God is good all the time.
I cannot dispute that at all. And I think that with what we have experienced in the past week and a half or 2 weeks, it's been a situation which has been nothing but positive. And
Gloriously.
gloriously positive. And in fact, I think that we are now in a mode where we're going to begin to really be rejuvenated to such a point that we will be successful in what we had already started trying to do anyway.
Yes.
We just needed a new start and an elimination of whatever karma there was that befell us. Because it was not a situation where we were trying to do anything wrong to anyone or anything wrong about anything. It was just something that happened because of whatever things that happened. We may have been doing something wrong and didn't even realize it. But I think it is all going to turn out for the best because of the fact that we are now getting some positive incentive from people who are truly concerned because of the fact that we have been more or less floundering at a point. And now, instead of just floundering, we are moving forward and upward. And in the final analysis, we're going to be all right.
Yes. And I would also like to thank everyone that helped us in our struggle to this success. Most of all, to God, especially to Mr. Sam Lackey Jr. for PHA.com for believing in me. And may God bless you all. Good night.